Hi, my name is Colin. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are on episode 9 in my music career series, How to Become a Film Composer. How is life like being a film composer? So let's find out. In this generation, most film composers, especially the starters, they most likely go to school for a bachelor degree in music composition, and then they go into a master's program in film and game scoring. Within this many years of studying, you will be learning a lot of music softwares. Let me tell you what they are. For notation software, we have Finale, Sibelius, and Dorico. For DAWs, which is known as a DOT, is basically what we call a digital audio workstation. So what you do is that you learn either Logic Pro, Cubase, or digital performer, but most of the time you probably learn all of them in school. So you use that to compose music, do MIDI mockup, and beat mapping for film scoring. Another software you might be learning is Wise and Fmod if your school offer courses in game scoring. That's not it. You also have to learn music software called Pro Tools to record and mix your music, which is a lot of software I just went over. And well, to work in the film industry, you have to know most of those softwares. There's actually one called Ableton Live, but usually people use it to make beats. And I don't really see a lot of film composers or game composers actually use Ableton. On top of learning music technology, you will also be learning tonal harmony. Basically, you learn like extended chords, scales, how to borrow chords from different keys to get more colors. And at the same time, you will be also learning techniques in how to write a very strong and memorable melody. Orchestration, of course, because you have to write for orchestra, choir, and big band. And you have to also learn how to compose music in many different genres because you never know what kind of films you will be getting in the future. The next thing I want to say is that going to school is not mandatory because you can always self-taught all the things I just said. Secondly, there's not a lot of Hollywood film composers actually went to a film school to learn all these skill sets. Finding a job in the film industry is definitely very challenging because jobs don't usually post online. So what most composers do, especially the ones that start up, they pay for IMDb Pro so that way they can email film directors directly if they have something in the process of filming. If they don't have a composer, they might ask you, can you send me your demo reel? And then you send him or her your demo reel and go from there. If you don't like to use IMDb Pro, another options for you to get started in this career is to use Eventbrite or Meetup. So what you do, you find events locally for filmmakers. So when you go there and meet those people, you try to collaborate with them when they make new films. And hopefully you can build good relationships with the filmmakers from there. So by building a good relationship with the filmmakers, you hope that their careers will go up, their films will eventually get noticed in film festivals, and at some point, hopefully, a big film company will hook the director up, and then the director will take you along for future collaborations. So I believe this is what most people try to do to go from starter up to Hollywood. If you want to just focus specifically in game scoring, you can still go to local game meetup events from Eventbrite and Meetup and GDC to meet people who are in the process of making games, and you're just gonna write the music for their indie games and go from there. Hopefully, eventually they will get hooked up by a AAA game company, and then they just take you along as the composer, and then move your career up from there. Another thing I want to talk about is that for any independent films, independent games, short films, or short games, or mobile phone games and stuff, you most likely won't have the money to record with a full orchestra, so you're expected to use sample libraries to create the music for them. And maybe if you're lucky, if some of them have a little bit more budget for music, you can record some of their tracks with small ensembles, so that would still be pretty good. To be realistic, I can't really give you an estimate salary because I just feel like in this industry, you either make like nothing or a lot of money. Let me tell you why. So, for my industry experience, a lot of times when people start out composing for short films and independent games, they pay like the composers lower than minimum wage, and sometimes they always ask for free. They always treat composers like kids. Hey, come over here, do some music for my projects. We give you credits, and then they just pay everybody else in the crews. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's the right way to go, but I think this happens because a lot of times if you want to listen to music on YouTube, you can listen it for free, and same thing for a lot of different platforms online. That's kind of give the assumptions to that a lot of film directors and game developers, musics are free, but that's not the case. And one thing I want to mention is that if this is the career path you want to go for, never work for free because usually the ones that they don't have producers that pay the films, the film is probably not that good. And with that being said, even you do it for free, that film 99% chance it doesn't go anywhere. And I personally even score for some of those films and they end up winning something in the festivals. And I did it for free, it didn't go anywhere. So I just don't think working for free for any film productions they're worth it. To really push your career up as a film composer, so it's I think the I think the one more answer is luck. Let me tell you why. So you can actually break into the business if you have family members or friends who are working in the business and then they introduce you to a big film company and go from there. So that's one option to break in. Another option to break in is that you can start it out being a composer assistant or orchestrator for a big film or game composer, and maybe one day they will introduce you to their film company and they got busy, so they introduced you to do one of their projects as the main composer. So that's another option to break in. So it's really like just these three ways I can come up to break into the industry. So there's not really a right way to go. It's I think at the end it really depends on your luck. This is definitely a super competitive career path in the music industry because I did see some of my friends break in 5 to 10 years and very successful. And at the same time, I also see people who have been doing the same thing for over 10 years. They didn't break in at all. So that's why I said my answer is really depending on your luck. Skill is a definitely very crucial element, but it won't be the biggest element that will bring you into the industry. Anyhow, I hope I provided you with some insights on how to become a film and game composer and how life is like being a film and game composer. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, leave your comments below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. I look forward to see you guys on episode 10, how to become a classical composer and how to make a living as a classical composer.